You're supposed to go.
One,
Okay. 2,
one,
2.
three.
You
Wait,
messed it up.
let's go again. I can't even get this shit right. Okay, 1,
2.
3. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is LifeTalk podcast. This is our first podcast, and today we have a guest, Rohan. He's my really good friend, my best friend, and and he's also a really talented guy. He's a really amazing coder, and he's also a content creator. For those of you who really don't know him. He has a YouTube channel named D'Angelo, and that's his YouTube handle, and he posts a lot of Siege content over there, funny Siege content. So go ahead and check him out. And Rohan, say hi.
Hello. Rohan, yeah. Happy to be here, first of all, and thank you for that very generous introduction.
Of course. And people, if you haven't subscribed yet, if you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. It will really help out a lot in making these content. So stay tuned for more. So our first topic, actually, for the first podcast is anime. We're going to be talking a lot about anime. We're going to be talking about different why anime is such a big influence in the world. So yeah, Ron, take it away.
So, I mean, should I just start with
what do you think about like anime? What are your thoughts on it?
I'm going to just straight up say waifus, man. I mean, like, yeah, I started watching anime for like its impactful story, absolutely amazing visuals. I will touch more about these visuals later on, because it's such a unique art style. Anime, it's very unique. And anime is like kind of like, you know, those indie short films you see once in a while that are inspiring and again, I'm going to use the word unique, because that's unique and different to what you're usually watching on television or in the theaters, which is either Western dramas or, you know, movies and all that sort of thing. But yeah, so for me, that's anime. That's why I started watching it, and I kind of stayed watching anime because of the waifus.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's your one and only reason right there. But anyway, I feel for me, it's just that anime has its own identity. You know, there are like, by own identity, I mean like Japan created anime, right?
Yeah.
So it has that particular feel, you know, of Japan. You know, that's I feel like that's the identity that I'm talking about. It just has that feel of Japan, and I feel that other countries, they try to recreate anime, right, for their own stories, their own Western movies, if you call it, but they don't succeed in making a really good anime. It's a good effort, I'd say, but it's more of that Western. It's more Westernized instead of that identity of Japan.
So you're talking about just a direct translation from anime to Western films. You're not talking about the differences.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. They try to recreate at least the visuals to a certain extent, but that's it, I guess.
I've never seen any Western anime visuals aside from The Last Airbender, in terms of just visual.
Airbender was just amazing.
Yeah.
You have to watch Airbender.
I need to watch that, yes. But like, yeah, in terms of its the visual identity which we are talking about in anime, that's the only one I've seen from like Western cinema, Western television.
If you're giving me Airbender as an example, then yeah, that's the only thing that they have succeeded in. Because they had the animation was amazing, you know, even for that time. I mean, I would say that time like it's really that old, but
wasn't it like 2015 or something?
No, 2000, something in the 2000s.
So,
So it's not that old. But they had an amazing story, and many people confuse that for like, is it like a full on anime or what? So yeah. Now, when we go deep into anime, what about film adaptations or series adaptation? Personally, I feel like they don't work, mainly because when it comes to an anime, it's a lot, right? The anime always goes at its own pace,
yeah.
right? So I feel like an anime, they have multiple episodes, right?
Yeah, yeah, they're like larger episodes and arcs in general compared to a film.
Exactly. So I feel like those, say, 5 hours of content, 5 hours of entertainment, like in a film adaptation, it'll be just like, they'll put those 5 hours in just 1 hour, It just feels rushed.
Exactly. A prime example would be what's the God, it's on the tip of my tongue. Ruku
Death
and all
Note.
Ryuku.
Death Note.
Death Note, yes, Death Note.
Oh my god, that Netflix adaptation, man. Like, they should have not done that, That was worse than COVID, man.
Okay, I
Like,
feel it's a bit of a stretch, but okay.
yeah. Yeah, but they should have tried to stick to the
The source
original.
material, yeah.
Yeah, that's what, because they tried to do it something out of their own, right? They westernized that in a way. They try to do it their own way or their own adaptation. I get it, a film adaptation, but adaptation just don't work. Not a lot get that right. I mean, I don't really recall any anime adaptation getting it right. At least when I'm talking about like in Hollywood.
I think the major problem with Death Note was that, like, while the characters and everything remained the same, there were quite a few smaller parts changed. Like, what's the girl's name in the series? The one who was like a diehard follower of Kira. Yeah. So basically, in the anime, spoilers first of all, if anyone's not watched Death Note, uh,
Misa.
Misa,
Her
yes,
name is Misa.
Misa.
Misa Mane.
In the anime, she's basically being used. There is all any sort of feelings Kira is directing towards her is in the greater scheme of things. Like, she is just being used. She's a tool in his plan. But in the movie, they went along and tried to make it a love story between them. If I'm not mistaken.
If it looked like Light just wanted to get laid, so he was just like, hey, I have a death note. You want to kill someone? Let's go on a date. you know,
Yeah, exactly.
it just really sucked, dude. Like, I think everybody, I don't know about this, but I was one of them, because when I say most of them, they try to, not try to, they had hopes for this. They had hopes for a Death Note movie. And at that time, I feel like, hey, Netflix is doing a movie, and Netflix is a huge company, right? It's a huge
Yeah.
thing. It's entertainment. So, if Netflix is doing it, it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And everyone was, I wouldn't say everyone, but most of us were waiting for that. And I was that someone. And when I honestly watched it, I was just like, oh, dude, gross. This is what I was been waiting for. And I think that's when Netflix started getting all the trolls, and that's when it hit, because I think after they released Death Note, they tried to do the adaptation. Everybody's just been shitting on Netflix if they try to adapt anything, at least live action.
It's become a meme at this point, like
It's become
the
a meme at this
manga,
point.
anime,
Yeah,
Netflix adaptation.
exactly. Although I feel like if they, like, keeping a film aside, because I don't think anyone has succeeded in making a successful anime adaptation by film, because
Okay.
I mean, look at Attack on Titan. They tried, failed. Fullmetal Alchemist. They tried, they failed. Dragon Ball Z. They tried. It was something, but initially it still failed.
I remember watching Dragon Ball Z when I was younger, much, much younger, and then
Yeah,
watching the film when I was around 15. I didn't quite understand what was happening. Like, I mean,
exactly.
yeah.
Although I feel that if they had to make a series that would fit. It's more of a hit or miss, but if it does become successful, there's like it opens up a lot of way to for them to make more similar content like that.
Hmm.
Because you're making a 5 hour anime, you're turning a 5 hour anime into 1 hour movie, which doesn't work. Whereas you can make a 5 hour anime and just make a 5 hour series, a series adaptation. But obviously, it has to be true to the source material. You can't just like, okay, hey, I'm gonna make a My Hero Academia series and just be like, oh, this, like that's it's not from the manga. Also, I'm gonna bleep that out. I can't swear. So, so yeah, it's just I feel like a series would work
Yeah, that's it.
if they take their time. For example, I can just give The Witcher.
Okay.
You know, they took their time. They didn't make it into a movie. They took their time with it at its own pace. They're going, I think, one book per season.
I
And
wouldn't know because I didn't watch Witcher myself. I've only played the games.
all right, all right. But if for as a series goes, I think it's one book per season.
Okay.
I think so, which is a great pacing, I'd say. You know, they're not rushing it to the next book in the first season itself. They're not making two books in one
Okay.
season, but yeah, and obviously they stuck to the source material. Everything was really amazing. They did an amazing job, but I feel like anime could. I feel that Netflix or any other studio could tap into an untapped market in certain places if they do this type of film.
Yeah.
Sorry, this type of series adaptation, because it's on anime is only known. I wouldn't say worldwide. By worldwide, I mean like not everybody knows about anime, right? It's just a majority of the people, but they would be tapping into the potential market of this minority of people who don't know about anime.
Yes, it would appeal to pretty much the remainder of the audience that hasn't watched anime.
Yeah. Hmm. So, anyways, we're going to be shifting to the next topic. Okay, so I want to hear your thoughts on this. All right. Why people should watch anime more,
My,
or why people who don't watch anime should give it a try, should give it a shot.
I feel like a lot of people should give it anime a shot. Like even I used to be one of those people who did disliked anime and was like, why are people watching this? Until I started getting into it on my own. But like I feel for like one, the primary reason could be one is exposure, because anime is primarily made by Japanese artists, Japanese studios, and all that. So the culture of Japan kind of is mixed within the episodes and the series. Like an example would be I watched this. Have you watched this anime called Fruits Basket? I think it's pretty. You should have watched it. It's pretty famous.
No, I was supposed to watch it.
Okay, so anyways, Fruits Basket, a little about it. It's based like on all these characters are based on the Japanese zodiac signs, which are like the rooster, cat, rat, and I think there's a pig in between or something, maybe a warthog. And it was interesting to see that like we are used to the zodiac signs being Aries, Sagittarius, Pisces, and all that. So it was very interesting to see that they have their own set of zodiac signs. Like so, like yeah, that's one reason is that you get a glimpse of Japanese culture and all, and expanding your knowledge on how the different cultures of the world is always interesting and gives you a deeper and better understanding of how other people live compared to how you do. Speaking of like how people sorry, live, perspective, you get a unique perspective on how the Japanese portray either romance or
Yeah,
any sort of the what are the this thing the fighting animes
show
called?
me,
uh,
show me a resolve.
yeah. No, what is it? There's a particular term, right, for fighting animes. Shojin,
Action.
Shojin. I apologize if I messed it up. But anyways, I watch a lot of slices of life and romance anime, so it's very interesting to see like the perspective on how they portray romance in their animes. Like I didn't know holding hands in Japan was like some big thing. Obviously they are probably exaggerating it for television, so But like, yeah, it was very interesting for me to see like how they see the same things that we do,
Yeah.
despite living in a different world. And this, I feel, this is like a big reason everyone should get into anime, J-pop. The music and anime intros and outros, and even the in betweens, like the, what do you call it, the score, basically the score.
Yeah.
It is undoubtedly the best kind of music you're ever going to hear. So, like, you get introduced even to newer music, and by extension you could get into K-pop. For me, at least, I got into J-pop first and then got into K-pop from there.
You did?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I don't listen to a lot of K-pop. I do listen to more J-pop than I do K-pop. But like I'm saying, that's how. So you get introduced to music, new music as well. And now everyone should watch animes because a lot of cosplayers exist who do this for a living, and it introduced you to that world of cosplaying. Like, you might become a cosplayer yourself just from watching all these other cosplayers and watching anime and feeling inspired and artistic to
Yeah.
do something like that. So like, yeah, that's why I think
I think you
anime
should
should be watched
probably
by
just
everyone.
explain what cosplay is for some people, because I'm pretty sure not everybody knows what cosplay is.
Basically, remember fancy dress in your kindergarten school.
It's basically you're being paid to be in a fancy dress competition. Wait, isn't this fashion shows?
I wouldn't say you're being paid. A lot of cosplayers don't get paid, but there's a lot of.
Yeah, basically it's a lot of cosplayers don't get paid. It's more cosplayers are basically dressing up as anime characters, or not just anime characters, any
Yeah,
characters, any cartoon characters.
their jobs are similar
So
to like what an influencer would do, but they're just dressing up
exactly,
instead.
exactly, they get paid by doing this. Not all of them, but at least the most famous ones,
Mm-hmm.
the really good ones, they get paid for doing all this stuff, or even basically it's photo shoots and all that stuff.
Yep,
I mean, I've heard that it's pretty hard to be a cosplayer.
it
It's
is
not hard to be a cosplayer. It's more of, it's
expensive,
hard to, yeah, it's expensive. It's hard to get
very
a
expensive.
job being a cosplayer, but if you do, it's pretty good.
Yeah, you're indulging in what you love, and that's
Exactly.
always the best way to work.
hmm I feel like with anime, why people should watch it more is with the same thing that you had said actually. There's a deeper level of connection. There's a
Mm-hmm.
deeper level of connection with what you're watching,
Okay.
because you understand the character more. It's unlike a movie that you're with the character for just like an hour.
Yeah.
But when it comes to anime, or even if you're reading the manga for that anime,
Mm-hmm.
you're with that character for multiple hours. Okay, you're going along this journey with him. You're
Mm-hmm.
watching his life. You're watching his day-to-day events that happen. So I feel like people get connected to that character, and sometimes they even see themselves in the character, because
Yeah.
they relate to the character.
Anime does have a
So
much more emotional impact, is what I'm trying
yeah,
to say.
yeah, yeah. And again, the same point where I say that it runs at its own pace. That's how they get that deeper level of connection. It's not rushed. They understand what's happening, and it's all in their own pace.
Yeah.
And again, obviously, the soundtracks,
I mean, you
and
can't deny that.
even animation for that matter. I don't see this sort of animation in Western cartoons. And
Mm-hmm.
even if there are, I probably can't remember, so that's on me. But the animation style is always different. Like I say, it's Japan's identity, but this is not the things that are included in the anime. I'm just talking about the style, the looks of an anime. It's only something that it's possible with Japan, and you can't see this sort of animation if you're watching a fight scene. Okay, say something with swords. If you're watching a fight scene, it just, it's going to be
Epic.
either an anime or it's a Western cartoon just by watching a fight scene with a sword fight scene. I mean, you understand what I'm talking
Yeah, I
about,
understand.
right?
I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I feel like that's why they should try it. I mean, always try new things in life, right? As long as it's safe,
Yeah,
please.
exactly.
So, yeah.
Don't do
So
drugs,
always try
kids.
new things. Yeah, don't do
As long
any
as it's
sort
safe,
of
he said.
drugs.
No, 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 don't do
As
drugs if
long-
it's safe. What I meant is don't do drugs. He said, as long as, try everything as long as it's safe.
exactly. So yeah, I feel like that's also another reason why people should get into anime, because hey, if they do get into anime, it works, right? It works as in like it's another form of entertainment. It's another, you're tapping an unsourced form of entertainment that you never knew about.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, off to the next topic. So I want to talk about the misconceptions of watching anime. You know, some people say it's related to hentai. Some people say it's. I'm not even kidding. I
No, you're pretty
actually
much right
know.
on that.
Yeah, I know some people personally who say like, oh my god, dude, that's like kind of like hentai and stuff. I can't say
I don't
who.
think it's the fact that people think it's tied. I think they mistake hentai for anime, thinking it's all right.
And yeah, because hentai is actually anime, but anime is not really hentai, right?
I mean, there are some.
See, hentai is made from the exact art style as anime. So it's not really anime though. I mean, anime is not hentai. Hentai is anime.
Isn't there like a sub-genre of anime called Ichi or Ichai anime, which is very much like, close
Ichai
to
anime?
Ichi? I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Ichi or Ichai?
Ichi anime. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But
Achi.
etchi.
There we go.
But yeah, so it's either related to hentai, you know, the misconceptions. It's not for kids, and or anime just doesn't do justice to the manga. I feel
More
like
often than not, some don't do justice to the manga. I've seen a lot
yeah,
of people complain
yeah.
about it on threads on Reddit and all that sort of stuff.
I think it's more like I mean, regarding the whole hentai thing, like you're right. It's mostly a little bit of confusion there, that they think that okay, hentai is
Hentai is
uh,
anime, but it's often not.
yeah. So I don't get why that is. I think it's mainly because of the waifus.
I mean, they are drawn in very
Yeah.
suggestive manners.
Yeah, and it's also the misconception that it's not for kids, you know. Or I think the whole "it's not for kids" is mainly for every cartoon, if I'm not mistaken.
It's not for kids. I feel it's more like people consider anime to be for kids.
Oh, sorry, it's
Yeah.
for kids. For kids, sorry. It's for kids. Yeah, which honestly I don't understand, because I mean the whole, you know, when people say elders say anime, it's not anime to them. It's just like a cartoon for them. So it's not really a certain type of cartoon, you
Yeah,
know.
I think it's primarily due to the association that cartoons are for kids.
Yeah. So I mean, when they say that, I don't understand it, because look at Attack on Titans. Like, bro, that is not for kids, man. Like, what are you talking about? And there are so many animes that have blood and violence in it, and I don't mean that in a bad way or anything, or trying to
Quentin
make someone
Tarantino wants to know your location.
dude, Quentin Tarantino should make a movie. I
He
mean,
should
should
make
make
an
an anime.
anime.
Yeah, I think it's just that they think that okay, just because it's animated, that there's nothing bad in it, because there's a lot of confusion between an anime and a normal cartoon. And I say normal cartoon, I mean like American cartoon. American cartoons mostly do not show any violence, no blood and violence, and I'm talking like series and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like majority of them, I don't know about now if they've started doing that. I genuinely don't know about American
I
cartoons, but at least I knew I was growing up, or even when you were growing up, that wasn't really there, right?
I feel with American cartoons, we didn't see a lot of it in especially Indian television. Like The Simpsons was the max that you could watch.
Yeah,
And I mean now there's
and I
Family
think
Guy and
and
there's
and I
BoJack
think American
Horseman.
cartoons is more of up till 14, up till 13,
Mm.
or up till 8. Children's is up to 8, and I think that's
You covered a
what
very
they.
large age base with that.
I'm sorry, but it's true. And I think that's what the companies were going for, to reach mostly kids, with their content,
Mm.
which is not something that anime has done. I mean, sure, there are some animes that are not really violent or anything,
There is a
but there are
genre
major.
directed towards kids like that.
Yeah, like slice of life also.
Yeah, I love those.
Yeah, yes, you do. But I feel like that's really a bad misconception, and not just for anime.
Mm.
It's like, it's made for kids just because it looks like a cartoon. Like, no, it shouldn't, that thinking shouldn't just be there for anime, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, because it kind of completely disregards the stories and whatever teach like a teaching or a value behind it. Most of them do have those, but some of them don't. But like you can't completely like I'm saying disregard the story just because it is animated. Like keep your mind open to other things, to it too.
Exactly. And lastly is, anime doesn't do justice to manga, which I don't think is entirely true, but not entirely false either. I mean, for example, Tokyo Ghoul, that was just a train wreck, dude.
Yeah, I haven't watched Tokyo Ghoul, but from my experience, there was one anime which I did watch was Darling in the Franxx, and a lot of people complained. Like it wasn't that it didn't follow the anime, the manga. Sorry, it's just that the ending didn't follow. Was bad. So okay, that's not really a great example about manga following the anime following the manga. Okay, I digress. But yeah, some of the times they don't follow the manga, and sometimes they do. And I feel that's down to like sometimes the manga not being because sometimes some animes are produced as the manga is being released. So
Yeah.
like where you're going to get the content from? So you just got to make up your own crap, and those filler episodes are always not that great. Just there to entertain you.
That's true. That's true. I still feel like, if you're, some people think that, okay, the anime doesn't do justice to the manga and all that. They're not wrong, again, like I said before, but I still think that they shouldn't let that stop them.
Exactly. Yeah.
That stop them from probably watching one of the best animes out there, anime adaptations from a manga.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because that's really, I don't know, I feel like that's like a toxic thinking, because you don't want to give it a try, you don't want to give it a shot, because you're just assuming it's going to be bad.
Yeah, it's like kind of like similar how we spoke about that taking the series and then putting it into a movie. You're trying to take like 8 hours worth of content, worth of story and content, and put it into what 2 hours. And like it similarly goes for manga. They're trying to squeeze in
Yeah.
what like 80, 90 chapters. Some of them go to. I think there's probably somewhere around
Yeah,
100
yeah.
plus chapters, and squeezing that into a series. So
One Piece is like cross 1,000
see, I
chapters.
don't want to talk about
One.
One Piece because honestly, the numbers with that anime scare me.
You should watch it, dude.
I just don't want to invest because I read an article and like if you watch about 2 episodes a day, it will still take you about a year to finish the the anime, or even 3 episodes a day, basically. So like you have to dedicate your life like a day job to watching One Piece if you want to finish it by any time soon.
Well, so our last topic is going to be animes that had an impact on your life. Anime that had an impact on your life. So go first. You tell
Animes.
me one. You tell me one. I'll tell you the next.
Um,
Then we'll go on from there.
Impact, like I want to say for me at least the impact it's something that like just left me thinking about life. One was what was the name of that film? Your Name.
Your name, okay?
It's just like the fact that these two people were connected even though they didn't know each other. It didn't like leave me thinking about life. It just felt left me feeling very
Empty?
not empty, hopeful, like
Yeah.
that there is this person out there that even though you currently don't know, there's a possibility that you could have a very deep and significant connection with this person. Example, you and me.
Nani?
Yeah, but so like that was one impactful anime for me. What about you? What's yours?
Uh, a silent voice.
That was going to be my second one.
Because your name was already in my list. Um, a silent voice. It had an impact on me because when I watched a silent voice, I was also going through my own things. I was also going through my own personal things, and it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
Hmm.
And I was watching a silent voice. I saw, okay, this is new. So I downloaded it and I started watching it, and I was like, oh my god, this is me. I mean, not entirely me, but this is what I feel. This is what I'm going through. And the character was having anxiety. He used to feel bad for himself. He used to just think that he was a good for nothing. It's something similar that I faced. So I could relate with their characters so
Hmm.
much, and at the end, it was me understanding that I need to let go of my own past. I need to better myself. I need to accept myself for
Okay.
who I am. So it was all that, all of that. It was honestly a huge emotional roller coaster,
Mm.
because that way I also learned, like, I can I can come out of this. I was watching this character go through this whole movie being all that, and in the end he came out of this. Even for me, it was just like, I can come out of this.
It gave you a sense of hope.
It gave me a sense of hope. Exactly. It was amazing.
I feel that's a very common theme with most of the anime movies, especially is that you can really identify with the characters, and that's what makes you feel hopeful because their endings are always towards the happier side. I don't think I've
Yeah.
seen one which has a sad ending yet, but fingers crossed because I do not want
um
to cry.
Sad ending.
Anyway,
I don't want to spoil it for you.
don't. I'll stumble across
Okay, I'm not
something.
even going to tell you which anime that
Yeah, let me
is.
stumble across it myself.
Alright, so next, you.
Um, okay, I would in fact I'm gonna divert slightly away from the like it being impactful, but like this is one
Yeah, fine,
anime
fine, that's fine.
I thoroughly enjoyed was Kakeguri. Okay, because the sense of adrenaline you get from watching that anime, it's like you take Avengers or you take any action film ever produced. Like you feel like yeah, that ultimate action, the soundtrack and all that.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
gives you goosebumps and all that. But
Mm.
Kakeguri, it gives you such an adrenaline rush. It's like that you after watching that anime, you want to go eat bread and then spit it at a duck. That kind of level of adrenaline.
I'm a bit concerned about you. I'm a bit concerned about you.
I am not harming any animals. I'm just giving a very convoluted metaphor. Yeah, that's one anime for me.
But for me, it's, again, I'm trying to, even me, I'm going to go ahead and not really say that this was an impact on my life, but it's Attack on Titans.
Hmm.
So Attack on Titan recently, it's right now it's on its final season. The second half of the final season is going to be releasing in 2020 winter, if I'm not
We
mistaken.
are in 2021, by the
20.
way.
I know it's a long way. So when it comes to Attack on Titans, you see the characters grow up as you go along. Okay, like most animes, anyways. But with this anime, it's just sad.
I just try to
It's just
avoid
really.
spoilers because I haven't watched this yet.
Oh, okay. Damn it. Cover your ears.
What's the point of me being in this podcast?
Get out.
And I will
Okay,
continue.
so Attack on Titans. So basically, what really mesmerized me about Attack on Titan is the animation. The animation style was amazing, and it's, you know how you have that one movie that is perfect. It has everything. It has good action sequences. It has an amazing story. It has amazing soundtrack. That perfect movie, that's the equivalent of Attack on Titans. It's just that perfect anime. You know, yes, you can read the manga as well. The manga is also amazing, but to me, I feel if you want to read something perfect, you need to watch it. You know, because sure, you can read a certain manga, but that's it. All you're doing is reading. But
Okay.
when it comes to an anime, you're watching it. You're watching this thing get animated. You're watching all these action sequences, and plus you're listening to really amazing soundtrack, really amazing songs in the background. So that altogether gives you more hype. You know, you feel more of an adrenaline rush.
Yes, yes. I like how I felt when watching Kakegurui.
Exactly. So when it comes to Attack on Titans, I mean, I can, because you haven't watched it, so I don't want to talk about it now. But that's the thing. It is that perfect anime, and it's honestly at the top of my list. It's just amazing. If any of y'all have not watched Attack on Titans yet, seriously, you don't know what you're missing out on, because it's just amazing, really. Anyways, next, Ron.
I think at this point we're diverting a little more away from impactful and more like to our top animes. But the
Go for it. It's fine.
next one I'm going to talk about is Violet Evergarden.
Violet the Evergarden.
Yes, that is primarily one of the reasons that I just love the way she says her own name. And pretty much the story is it just it's again gives, like as I mentioned earlier, it gives such a unique perspective on watching someone who was essentially a tool of war, nothing more, nothing less. She didn't understand what is to be human, what it is to be human, and this one
Yeah.
general sort of tries to take her out of this situation. And just watching her grow and understanding the human connection, empathy, and any of those human emotions, so to say. It was it was it was just beautiful from its animation. Again, just talking about anime's animation is just another impact on its own because it's
Yeah.
so pleasing to look at. And
I tried to watch Violet Evergarden, you know,
mhm,
when I was a kid. I mean, when I say kid, when it first got released,
okay,
I couldn't because, honestly, for me, you know, I was young at that time. I was not really understanding that well. I, I don't know how young. I could have just been like a year, or I could have just been a year younger, and I'd still be like, "Hey, I'm dumb." So I don't know. But 2019, that's when it was released.
that's not very young,
So
is it, for you? You weren't
I
very
don't
young
know.
either.
No comments on this. No comments on this. So I never really understood it, and by understood it, for me it was too slow. You know, the pacing was a bit too slow.
Hmm.
And I tried it again this year,
Mm-hmm.
few months back, and even then as well, I still couldn't get into it. I got into the first episode, the second episode, but I just couldn't find myself watching it more. I
Okay.
mean, I think it's mainly I should try watching it so it sticks with me.
Yeah,
So let's
definitely.
see.
It's got two movies as well, I think. No, one's a special, another one's a movie. No, there are two movies and one special. So the movies also were just really great.
Oh, alright. Oh, it's released in 2017, not 2019.
Uh, Makes a little more
Yeah.
sense now to what you said.
But yeah. Next, I would say is Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist. Have you watched that?
No. I mean, I don't mind spoilers for this one. I don't think I would.
What? No. You cannot do this.
Oh,
You need to go watch it.
okay. Okay, I'll watch it then.
One thing about Fullmetal Alchemist, it really seeped deep into me is that, it was the whole Newton's law thing, right? What's Newton's law?
Newton has about 3 laws. You're going to specify which
What's
one.
the thing that?
Every action is an opposite and equal reaction.
Yes. So I don't know. This is how I used to see it. Basically, in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, it's the equivalent law of exchange.
Okay.
It's the same thing, right?
I don't know. Let me just check
I
that
think
up.
I think
The
it
law
is.
of equivalent. Oh, I don't know how to spell equivalent. Equivalent. Okay, there we go. Is this the principle and limits alchemies in? Oh, this straight up just gave me full metal alchemist definition.
But no, by law of equivalent exchange is whatever you're doing, you get something in return of the. It's an exchange.
Okay.
What it thinks is valued at what you're giving.
Okay.
So I don't know. That just made me understand a bit more about if you are putting in your efforts somewhere, you'll get the equivalent exchange of your efforts.
The fruits of your
And
labor.
there we go. And this guy and his metaphors, man.
This is a very common idiom.
Same thing.
Okay.
So as far as that goes, as far as impact goes, it made me. This is one anime that really made me love anime a bit more, because this was the anime that I watched that had a much more emotional impact on me.
Mm-hmm.
Because before this I had watched Death Note.
Okay.
And Death Note is also amazing, obviously, but as far as that emotional level goes, it's not that much, right?
It's more
You're
of a
only
drama.
with the character.
Death Note. Or
Yeah. You're with the characters, yes, but at the same time, it's more of like a whole mystery kind of thing, right? Whereas for Fullmetal Alchemist, it was not mystery. It was just something else. It had an amazing story. It had good soundtrack. You just feel for these characters. You just felt for everything that they were going through, everything that they were trying to achieve. So I think that's how this was my the second good anime that I had watched, which really appreciate and love anime more, because of how far they would go to help us relate or have the deeper connection to certain characters.
the connection between the
Yeah.
you feel a deeper empathy for these characters, even though they're
Exactly.
fictional. Like, yeah.
It was amazing, man. Like, really. Any next one you have? The silent voice was done.
Silent
I
voice.
mean, if that's fine. If you don't have anything, we can just wrap this up.
I'm just going to the final one, which I would say is like it's a comedy anime. Love is War.
Yeah.
I mean, like the comedy is so tastefully done in this anime. It's not like it's slapstick in a manner, but it's not I say generic slapstick.
Yeah.
It's I don't know how else to say it. It's like a really funny anime, and on top of that, it's a romance comedy, which it's almost got that vibe of like how in Death Note, very odd comparison. First of all, uh, who's an L and Kira, right? This sort of
Yeah.
intellectual battle between them.
Yeah.
You'll see this intellectual battle between the two main characters, but the intellectual battle is trying to make each other confess to each other.
Wait, what's this anime?
Love is War.
I want to read this.
Ka-
Love is War.
I think its full name is Kaguya-sama Love is War.
Alright. Is this on Netflix?
It's on Netflix.
Shout out to Netflix. Sponsor us.
Please.
Next.
Ironically, I did stop watching on Netflix because their library is terrible in India. We don't have a lot of access to quite a few animes.
Exactly. I feel like that's something that if Netflix did, they would have like a lot more watch time on their service.
I feel it's not something that they didn't do. It's something that they don't do because given the low or not low audience, is it audience, what is it? Like the number
Audience,
of
yeah.
people watching anime is quite low, so it doesn't
In
make, yeah,
India,
in India it doesn't make sense to spend money getting the licenses for these animes, and on top of that you obviously have to dub them or sub them, so there's
yeah.
even more money being spent on
But do you
that.
think it's growing though? The whole
it is
India
it is
and
growing.
watching anime.
It is growing, but I don't know if I can be qualified enough to say that it's growing because I myself just entered into the anime space, and
I mean,
because
if
I
even one person entered, it's still a part of growing, right?
yeah, true. But like because I entered, I discovered there are like a lot of people. I met newer people who were into anime. So
Yeah,
I couldn't say that it's growth just because like I saw 10 new people who were into anime. It's just that they could have been before me. I entered, so now entered into the space, and now I can have a conversation with them.
yeah.
So
I
yeah.
mean, I feel like anime should be something that even people of India should watch. Honestly, we need to fight against Chota Beam. That's like the end goal.
Why would you fight against Chota Bheem is a cultural icon in India. Okay, don't you dare diss Chota Bheem.
Bruh, no. You need to stand up against Chota Beam, dude.
The
Like, seriously.
the only place I will stand up against Chota Bheem is how he did what was the name, Chutki Dirty. That's the only place I'll stand up because he acted like a complete himbo in one of those episodes.
Oh, spoilers, spoilers. But anyways, so that concludes our whole podcast. And if you're still here at the end, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much for listening to us.
And keeping up with
And
our collective one brain cell trying to form sentences.
exactly. And if you like this content, please like it, subscribe, and share. And hopefully, we make a part two to Life Talks podcast.
Yeah,
So let's
definitely.
see.
I had a lot of fun. Looking forward to making more.
Thank you so thank you so much for being here today. And good night. Have a great day.
Good night.
Or a great night.
Afternoon, wherever, what time you're watching. Good
Yes.
day, good night, good afternoon, whatever.
Mr. Worldwide.
We spoke in one language. Hey,
Alright, see ya.
bye bye.